We have P gains for roll, pitch, and yaw of 65. We have I gains of 25 for both roll and pitch. And lastly, we have a yaw gain of 35. So really what we're looking at here is roll and pitch. Let's turn it on. Not seeing much drifting in any axis. Now what I'd like to see is I'd like to see if it, when correcting for this error, we get oscillations. We'll let it drop to the ground, let it go up, and then slowly give it throttle. No. We're going to try to give it gradual throttle enough so that it gets a lot of prop wash. Nothing. We'll get fast throttle. Nothing. So an area where you get a lot of prop wash sometimes when you're coming up, you're heading towards something fast, and then you stop off like that, but we're not getting anything. So I'd say that means we're pretty good. Let's see if we can come back and land it. So we're back in profile. We're going to take a look at our PIDs. And what I'd like to see, just for the fun of it, is what happens when we turn our I gain up high, significantly high. So what we'll do is we'll take and let's just start with roll, because I want to look at roll. Now let's turn roll up to 60. Let's do 55. Actually, you know what? Let's do 60. That's pretty high. So I'm gonna go back. We're going to save it, and just for the heck of it, we'll see how this affects the system and why it is or isn't advantageous to have high I gains. So we're rebooting, and we'll be back. Okay, so we're in arm it. We have super high I gain for a roll. We're going to see how it reacts. Let's go. Well, nothing noticeable out of this moment. Let's say if we go like that. It does drift, but that's because it has, you know, momentum. Okay, so one thing that is very subtle, but I'm actually starting to get oscillations. Yeah, I'm getting oscillations in the roll axis, whereas in the pitch axis, I'm not. So I think that's an indicator that our I term's too high. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and change that back down. And I think we've discovered that if we turn the I term up too high, it's going to also cause oscillations similar to the P term. Maybe it's trying to overcorrect. So let's go back. We're going to turn those back down. And I think the final thing to do here is to adjust our D term or dampening term and see how that works. So we'll see you there. So we have our D term turned up to 10 for roll, pitch, and yaw, and all of our P&I gains are what we found to be optimal. We're going to see how this having our D terms up to 10 affects the setup. So we're going to arm it. Now, I would say this is actually far better, far more controllable. What we're seeing is we're not actually seeing any oscillations at all. Yeah, there's no oscillation. Super smooth, buttery. So let's go up in the air and let's drop it down. No oscillations, dampened well. And yaw seems to have taken a big impact from just that little bit of D-term. It's so smooth. Now we have to remember this is a 7-inch quad. It's not going to be hyper quick to respond, but it is going to respond pretty well. In order to test outside interference a little more, like let's put it near the ground. Near the ground you usually have some sort of oscillation because all that crop wash, but we're not seeing that here. As you can see, we can put this thing right up. Works pretty good. So we like the dampening gain of 10. I'm not seeing any major issues. So what we're actually going to do next is I'm going to put my FPV headset on and I'm going to fly it significantly fast and see if I can do some, you know, some flips, rolls, stuff like that, and see how it reacts. So we're going to arm it. So in this mode, I changed the angle. I'm actually seeing some drift. So from the wind, it is starting to drift. It's subtle, but in a high wind environment, I'm seeing that this wouldn't be very good. So one thing we're going to do here is we're actually going to turn up the eye gains a little more. But all that aside, let's see how it does some rolls. See if we can do a flip. As you can see, it's very quick to respond. Our rates are pretty high, so as you can see, we can pretty much flip this thing really fast. Let's do a fast flip. Ready? So this is really putting it, you know, putting our test to the max. We move the stick all the way to the right because we're going to do a roll to the right and see how this thing responds. You heard it up there. There's a little bit of jerkiness, so that might mean dampening has to come up too. So let's do it again. That was perfect. That was that was solid. That was very, very solid. So we're going to try this one more time. What I want to see is there bounce back? And I think there might be, which means dampening might need to go up a little more. One more time. Yep, there's bounce back. I can try one a little lower. Not as inclined to do that, but yeah, there's a lot of bounce back. Let's see if we can do one really low to the ground. Land it. Anyhow, so what we saw there was some bounce back, which means our D term needs to go up to dampen it out a little bit if we can. So we just got the GoPro on the drone, and what we want to do is we want to take it for a nice hard flight. We want to fly it a little faster, do some harder turns, do a couple flips, and then when we go to edit, what we're going to do is we're going to check for any bounce backs or any sort of indicators that our tune can be improved for the way we fly. So let's get her up in the air and see how she does.